Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kalingiting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
If it's entertainment you crave, catch us on New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores. New Wave. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. New Wave. See you there.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear.
Do you long for a good spiritual read? Or for literature that not only feeds the mind, but nourishes the soul as well? Do you want to be inspired, feel positive and hopeful about life? Then read The Windhover, the official magazine of the Jesuits in the Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Windhover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Windhover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
You're listening to the voice of the Blue Eagle.
You know what it is?
Voice of the Blue Eagle. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kalingiting at tigil.
If it's entertainment you crave, catch us on New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. See you there. because this is New Wave. And I was very surprised to see today when I counted how many episodes we've had that we are at our 60th episode. This is exactly episode 60. So, what an achievement that we're closer to 100 episodes than we are to our first episode. So, like, wow, I'm a little surprised and I'm amazed with that. So, I guess before the year ends, let me know who else you'd like to see on the show so we can try to make it happen. Now, Ateneo, it is still midterms week for a lot of us. It's still midterms week for me, at least. So, how are you all coping? Are you done? Do you still have more? Either way, we've got 2 days left in the week since I think today is almost over. And that's something to look forward to since we can finally at least try to rest. Now, I'm going to bring back something I said last week because it's still October, and that means it's the time for October medals, which is an Atenean tradition that's been around longer than a lot of us students. It's a show of our love and devotion for Mother Mary, who is the patroness of our university. So it would be a really good idea to drop by, get an October medal, especially if they're still available, from MVP Room 109, which is the room of our campus ministers. So she's a guide and inspiration, a reminder of our faith. And because it's a month of a rosary, it's also a very good thing to practice. And of course, October medal, there's nothing more Atenean than getting an October medal. So go drop by to MVP and see if you can still get one. Now, without further ado, our guest today is someone who you've seen on screen for years, starting with commercials, later on starring in movies and shows such as Hello Stranger, and most recently, Tara G. Now he's venturing into music and he has a new single called Lumala o Mawala, and he will talk about it today. So everyone, please welcome JC Alcantara. Hello, JC.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to see you. Hello. So, how are you? You can talk about this from a non-career perspective first. How have you been, especially like in the past few weeks?
Sobrang busy. Sobrang
Oh, for
daming
sure.
ginagawa at that time kasi puro kami taping, puro kami promo sa Tara.
Yeah.
And ngayon nagte-taping ulit kami for MTV sa Lumala o Mawala.
Ooh, okay. We'll ask you about that later. But you must be really like, okay, I can see now you're very busy, like with back-to-back tapings and promos, both of which are very difficult and tiring in their own ways, but I'm sure it's also fun. So to break the ice a little more, what do you do to de-stress and have fun in between all of this?
Shopping. Stress shopping.
Stress shopping. So add to
Yes.
cart online and real life,
Oo.
I guess.
Sobra. Kasi pag na-stress ako, as in pagdating ko sa bayan, daming deliver.
Yeah.
Tapos pag palagi ako nagmamall para mawala yung stress ko. So, ganun yan palagi ginagawa ko.
Relatable content. All right. So I'll ask you about your best boodles later. But for now, let's go to your career. So tell us about your early acting days. Like, did you ever get formal training? And for those who don't know yet, I read that it was your friend who first gave you the idea to try modeling and going for commercials. So how was this for you? Like, tell us a story from your perspective.
Nag-start ako sa flyers, yung nagbibigay na
Okay.
sa mga brand like sa mall. So
Mhm.
after nun, sabi ng tropa ko, try mo kaya mag-commercial. And then, yun, tinry ko naman. Tapos yung first handler ko, hindi siya okay kasi puro siya pangako that time. And then after nun,
Okay.
pangalawa, yun na, nag-commercial na ako. First TVC ako. Tapos after nun, dire-diretso siya. Hanggang nag-showbiz na ako. Ganun siya.
Wow. Okay. So there was never a break in between.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think one of your first commercials was Jollibee. Which came first, Jollibee or TNT?
First commercial ko, Manulife.
Oh, okay.
And then after nun, naging ambassador ako ng TNT. Tapos Jollibee. Sa Jollibee ako na-discover. Yung
Nice.
kwentong Jollibee. Naging
Yeah.
trending yun. Tapos hinanap ako ng ABS.
Oh,
Tapos yun,
wow.
Teleseries
Nice.
agad.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I guess from there, I remember your Jollibee commercial. It was the one with the grandparent. Yes.
Grandparents. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. So even if it was a short commercial, it still conveyed and needed a lot of emotion and a lot of connecting with the audience. So would you say that there's a difference between acting for teleseries, for movies, and acting for commercials? Like, are there different things you keep in mind when you do both?
Yeah, it's different.
Mm. Okay, let me know a little more. Because I've had people tell me, oh, it's the same. It's just like shorter and longer. But what about you, your perspective?
Sa commercial kasi OA. So,
Oh,
yung
okay.
bawat reaction mo,
Interesting.
kailangan parang anime yung, or cartoon yung mga reaction mo. Pag kumakain ka, ganun. Pag acting kasi, natural na sinasabi mo lang. Ganun.
Okay, got it. So, in a way, did commercials prepare you for these teleseries?
Yes, sobrang laking nakatulong siya.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbaga, may mga nakuha ko na medyo OA kasi yung acting ko dati. Tapos pagsalang ko sa teleserye,
Mm-hmm.
ay ganito pala yun. Hindi ko mabigay yung yung feeling na yung hindi nila maramdaman kung uma-acting ako kasi galing akong commercial. Buti na lang nag-workshop ako after ko sumalang
Okay.
Star Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Then free workshop lang naman kasi naging part din ako ng Star Magic.
Okay. I've spoken to some people who've done Star Magic workshops before, and they always have like very different stories of what goes on in the workshops. So, for you, what was the most memorable thing you did? And I guess what was the most challenging also?
Balikan yung mga panahong nawarak ako.
Oh my!
Kasi yung mga pinagdaanan ko, pag nag-workshop ka, ihimay nila yun bubuksan nila. So, yung trauma, bumalik siya. Sabi ko, ganito pala yun. Nahirapan ako kasi first time ko mag-workshop din. Mabigat siya sa pakiramdam na yung nangyari sa akin dati na malala, inopen nung director. Pero sobrang laking tulong nun kasi nagagamit ko siya minsan pag may iyakan, ganun, karga. Yun po.
Yeah, people always tell me that somehow those workshops also help them not just as actors, but it also helped them handle their emotions because you're also taught how to approach these old feelings, these scary feelings in a more healthy way and a more helpful way because now there's a more directed outlet. So, okay, now let's talk about your work. So, I've spoken to Direct Peterson about Hello Stranger before, but that was from a director's perspective. Now, I'd like to hear the story from an actor's perspective. How did this come to be from the audition all the way to the actual filming?
For Hello Stranger?
Yeah.
That time, hindi ko alam kung ano yung ka-love team ko Babae.
Yes.
Kasi pandemic nun. Nag-audition lang ako. Tapos biglaan yun. And then, tumawag yung handler ko na, uy, JC, meron ka ng movie. Series din. Sabi ko, wait, seryoso po ba? Kasi sarado na yung ABS. Wala na prangkisa nun that time. And then, ang ka-love team mo si Tony Labusca. Sabi, natakot ako kasi napanood ko yung mga scene niya, like yung laplapan, gano'n. The glorious guy. And then, sabi ko, okay, sige po, game ako. And then, yun, masarap.
Okay.
Masarap i-portray yung role na ganun kasi ang dami kong na-inspire na tao na part ng LGBTQIA+ community. Ayun.
So I read before that you said that's also a very challenging role because it's a responsibility to be portraying that type of character and representing that community. So how was it for you? I guess, like, was there anything you kept in mind or anything you were told to keep in mind while you were playing the character? Especially to be able to portray it the best that you can.
Nag-watch ako ng mga BL series sa Thailand.
Okay.
Together the series. And then, meron din naman ako mga friend na part ng ganon. Kinakausap ko. Tapos yung tita ko, part din ng LGBT. So, sabi ko, para sa inyo to, gusto kong kasama nyo sa pagtulong, maging bosses din kasama niya maging boses ng mga LGBTQ.
Mhm.
So, yun. Inano ko sa sarili ko si Miko para maging effective. Kumbaga, gusto ko, hindi kasi biro yung mga role na to. So, gusto ko china-challenge yung sarili ko and then maibigay ko na yung best ko to portray Miko's role. Ayun.
Of course. So also on set, there are a lot of actors who have also told me that like they get a lot of creative freedom on set, especially when it comes to playing with their characters, to bringing their characters to life. And this also goes hand in hand with how the director wants the character to be, because the director has a vision, the actor has a vision. So for you as an actor, since that's your craft, how do you make these two visions meet?
Mahirap kasi alam mo yun, yung critics ng mga tao kasi yun yung pinapansin ko muna para sa susunod na taping ko mas gagawin ko yung tama, yung better.
Yes.
Para alam mo yun, kasi nung first scene namin medyo nababash pa ako kasi parang hindi daw bagay sa akin yung role. And then ginawa kong inspirasyon yung mga comments nila na kailangan kong ipakita sa kanila na mali yung sinasabi nila. After nun, dire-diretso, minamahal na nila ako na kaya mo pala. Tapos biglang yung episodes 4 or 3, 4, 5, 6, doon na ako na mas naging better. Kasi first time kong umarte na online like this. So, wala
ito
akong
sa Zoom
kapatunan.
setup.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, hindi ko maramdaman yung ka-acting ko na ako nagbabatuhan kami. So, minsan wala siya, minsan ako lang umaarte. So, kaya yung lumalabas sa series na yun, medyo parang patay pa. Then, na-master ko yun na, ay, ganito pala. Parang nakikipag-usap lang talaga ako sa kanya.
Yeah.
So, kinakausap ko na lang yung camera na parang kausap ko sila. Ganun.
Yeah, and then now that you've gotten through that, you've become a more versatile actor also. That was like relatable for me because here in radio, what we used to do, like when we were pre-pandemic era, we would have our guests face to face. So we'd get to talk to them, like we'd be in the same room. So it was a lot easier to like feel the energy bounce off of the other because you were right in front of each other. And then when we got to like Zoom recordings, all of a sudden that dynamic changed because we weren't in the same place. So it got a little bit harder to connect with who we were talking to and our audience especially. But you know, you live and you learn. So anyway, back to that. Like, since it was your first role, then you mentioned that you had a lot of bashers. And of course, it takes a lot of emotional strength to get through that, especially like when it was your first time and you were very new as an actor. And then like us college students, high school students, we experience that in different levels. So I guess for you, what advice would you give to someone who's like receiving bashing of any form or bullying of any form?
Siguro sa mga don't deal with them. Kumbaga, pag binash ka, pasok dito, labas sa kaliwa. Kasi mahirap din kung iisipin mo palagi yung mga sinasabi nila. Kasi mas masasaktan ka. Kumbaga, gawin mo na lang silang motivation sa sarili para maging okay tayo, mas maging better tayo. Minsan kasi yung basher, mas kilala ka pa eh. Yung hindi mo kilala yung sarili mo pero sila kilalang kilala ka na. Kung sa sarili mo na tama ka, wala kang naapakan tao, huwag mo sila pakinggan.
That's true. That's right. Okay, that's good advice. So now we'll move on to Taraji, which just premiered earlier this month. And like, before we get into the story, what I read from your co-stars is they called you the happy pill and the optimist of the group. So why is that?
Hindi ko alam. Siguro, kasi palagi akong nagpapatawa minsan. Palagi, pero may minsan.
Okay, I was like, contradiction there.
Kumbaga, pag bored na kami, gusto ko palagi silang kinukulit. Nagpapatawa ako sa kanila, kami dalawa ni Anthony. Kasi isang buwan kami magkakasama, magkakakilala na kami. Lahat alam na namin kung ano yung baho mo. So, para mas ma-maintain namin yung friendship namin at mas tumagal pa lalo, mas nag-open up na kami. Kumbaga, yung kilalang-kilala na namin lahat na cast. Kaya sobrang comfortable na kami isa't isa, sa isa't isa. Tapos, sumasayaw ako, ganun. Kahit di ako dancer, pero sumasayaw ako sa harap nila para mapatawa ko lang sila.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see some of that on your TikTok from time to time. But before we talk about that now, without spoilers, tell us what you can about Tara G.
Sa Tara G, ako po din si Dan, ang the man na maasahan, lovable.
Lovable, okay.
And abangan nila kung anong mangyayari sa amin. Dalawa ni Lex. Yan po.
So it just started, right? Like just, I
Yes.
think October 7th. Yeah, so it's very fresh. Okay. So we'll remind everyone to catch that later. But I guess my next question would be, you said earlier that like you and your castmates have gotten to know each other so well, you know, like everything, the good, the bad. So taking all of that into account, how do you keep a good attitude on set? And like, how can you keep this good-natured perception of things that I see you have when you say you're the one who does funny things palagi na minsan? So, let me know.
Siguro dahil that time, sobrang na-enjoy ko yung taping na yun. Kasi sobrang hilig ko sa malamig and gusto ko good vibes ako palagi para pagising ko, ma-maintain ko yung happiness and then ma-share ko yung vibes sa mga tao na nasa paligid ko. Kasi sobrang hirap kasi nung travel namin from Baguio to Atok. So, kailangan hindi namin bad trip kami sa isa't isa. Hindi ko dadalhin yun doon sa taping. Iwanan ko doon sa Baguio para pagdating ko, happy kami. Wala kaming mga inisip na problema. Ganito na lang gawin natin. Libang-libang na lang tayo kasi tayo-tayo lang din yung magkakasama. Tayo-tayo lang yung magkaka-work. Kaya happy-happy lang kami lahat.
That's good. Were you locked in for this?
Yes. 1 month. 1 month kami nagkakasama. Ayun.
Yeah, that is a long time. But okay, let's leave acting first and go straight into music. But before we talk about your latest single, since I know you've had songs released before, where did your love for music start? Did it start the same time as acting? Was it one of the initial ideas you had, or was it something that came later on?
Nung high school ako, sumasali ako sa singing contest.
Oh, okay.
Sumasali. First time pala. First time ko sumali sa singing contest. Kumbaga, sinalang ako doon nung first year high school ako. Tapos nanalo ako, nag-title ako.
Oh, wow! And that was your first time?
First time ko. Hindi
What
ko
was
rin
the song?
Isang lahi. Lahat kami yung kinakanta namin.
Ah, okay.
Kumbaga, lahat ng first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Ako yung nag-represent ng first year. Tapos, magaling yung mga kalaban ko. Siguro magaling din ako noon that time. Kaya ako nanalo. And then after nun, nawala na yung ano ko sa kanta. Tapos, nabigyan ako ng chance ng Star Music. Sila Sir Rox and Sir Miko. Na, para lumawak yung showbiz career mo, pasukin din natin tong music.
Yeah, yeah.
So, binigyan nila ako ng kanta. Yung first single ko, yung Please na Miss Kita. And then ngayon, eto na, yung bago, yung Lumala Ako.
Yeah, all right. So, okay, you mentioned that you had that singing contest when you were in high school. But how did you learn how to sing? Like, did you just practice by yourself? Did you have like formal training or anything? What was your background?
CR. Kanta-kanta lang. CR. Parang
Bathroom
normal
concerts.
yung ginagawa ng mga tao.
Yeah.
So, ganun lang. Parang sabi ko meron din akong voice na kaya kong ipagmalaki din naman. Nung bata ako. Kaya sabi ko, ay, kumakanta pala ako. So, siguro yun na yung hint na makapasok din ako sa music industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about your new music. So lumala o mawala. So tell us what you want. Tell us a story about it. How the song got to you especially. So the floor is yours.
Sulat to ni Kenji.
Yes.
Lumala o mawala about to sa dalawa eh. May second chances, merong kung magugustuhan ba niya ako o iba yung mamahalin.
Okay. So yeah, continue.
Yun. Sige.
Oh, okay. That was it. Okay. So have you found yourself in this situation if you're comfortable with sharing?
Yeah.
Yes, you have. Okay. So does this real life experience, just like in acting, help inform how you sing the song?
Nakakatulong siya. Kasi
For sure.
sabi ko, pag ma-acting pala, parang kailangan din maramdaman ng makikinig. So, malungkot ako that time. So, mistake ko na malungkot ako kasi malungkot yung kanta. Pinaghandaan ko siya kasi gusto kong pag pinakinggan ng tao, may kirot.
Yeah, of course.
Kaya, yun. Parang acting lang talaga siya habang kinakanta mo. Pero pag kailangan nasa voice, nasa ano ka, nasa tono ka.
Of course, that's like the most basic part of singing. But like, okay, so I'm seeing now that it's brought up that like to get that soul, to get that emotion when you're singing, you also kind of relate it to acting because all of a sudden you have to put your emotions in the forefront again. But with a song this sad, of course you had to get yourself into the headspace. Now this is a sad song. It's a song that hurts. It's a song that I want the audience to hear the hurt that I'm trying to get across. What about when you need to break character or when the song is finished? How do you leave that sad headspace? Because of course it could also get dangerous when you stay in it. So how do you snap yourself out of it? Or is that not a problem for you?
Mahirap kasi lahat
okay.
ng role ko nagstay sa akin ng mga 1 week, 2 weeks.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
kailangan kong magpagpag every time na meron akong role or may kakantahin ako. Kasi masakit din yung like pag nag-ready kasi gusto ko pinaghahandaan ko pag binibigyan ako ng role or kanta.
Yeah,
para
of course.
alam mo yung ramdam ng mga tao, lahat yung acting ko, yung kung ano man pakinggan nila. So, nag-move on ako after nun. Mga 1 week.
Okay. 1 week.
or 2
That's
weeks.
That's your deadline. Okay. Because like I think that's something important to remember because there's always stories of like actors, like sometimes it gets difficult to snap out of a negative situation the character is in or the negative situation that the song you're singing is in, and it gets unhealthy to stay there for too long. So it's good that you give yourself that deadline of 1 week. So now we're not done with the interview yet, but invite people to listen to your song.
Ayun, mga kapamilya, sana po suportahan niyo po ako at pakinggan niyo ang Lumala o Mawala sa Spotify, sa YouTube, and Apple Music. Ayun, maraming salamat po. Please stream Lumala o Mawala.
Of course. And then earlier you mentioned that there's a music video on the way. So what can you tell us about this music video?
Lalala balalo.
Oh no,
Mawawala.
okay. Okay. Well, is there already a date or what are you allowed to share with us? Because I'm sure your fans are very excited to see what will be coming up with that.
Sobrang excited ako kung ma-share to. Kasi alam kong hindi nila ina-expect to. At gusto ko masaktan sila na maging masaya din sila.
There you go again. Masaktan na maging masaya.
Oo.
Okay.
Pero masasaktan sila talaga.
Okay,
Kasi
noted.
wala o mawala.
Okay, roller coaster of emotions.
Oh.
Let's go.
Abangan nila.
All right. So with all of the lines in your song, it's a long song. It's a 5-minute song based on what I remember. What was your favorite line or the line that hurt you the most in this song?
Yung Pag-asa bang hindi tayo kahit isang araw lang nang makita mong ako'y para sa'yo lang. Yeah. May pag-asa ba?
Wow. Wow.
Kahit
Wow.
isang araw lang.
Well, thank you for that sample. Now, musically, who are your influences also? Like, who are the people you look up to? And I guess also, give me one musical influence and one acting influence.
Sa music, sino ba? Mahilig kasi ko sa, sinong kumanta ng Japanese denim? Diba hindi ko alam.
Wow. Influence and you don't know the name. Okay, what about as an actor first?
John Lloyd Cruz.
John Lloyd Cruz. Okay.
And Jericho Rosales.
Oh, okay.
Pero ngayon sa music pala si Adi.
Adi, okay. All right. So, next. A while ago you mentioned that this song was written by someone else. And I guess this is also similar to attacking a script. But these words, these experiences, they're not necessarily your own. And I'm sure there have been times also where the situation you're put in, especially in Hello Stranger, is a situation that you may not have gone through in real life. So as an actor, as a singer, how do you put yourself in that headspace, given that it's not something you've experienced yet?
Inaalam ko yung story nung kwento. Kasi mas gusto ko na challenge ako. So, pag nalaman ko na kung saan yung pinagmulan, kung bakit nangyari to. Pag pinipitch kasi sa akin, gusto ko malaman kung ano ba siya, bakit siya nagkaganito, bakit siya nagdadrama, bakit siya may problema. Tapos nilalagyan ko ng karga yung mga nangyayari sa life ko para mas maging mabigat to. Ganito.
Meissner technique. Alrighty. So, sige, let's move on to your routines and to your craft. So, what are the processes that you go through when you're preparing to be on set and when you're preparing to be on a studio? Like, are there things you do before to get in character, to get into the mood? Like, do you take a walk? Do you run around set? I've had people tell me, oh, I take one lap around the set and that's how I leave myself and bring in my character. What are the things you do for that?
Sa bahay, kung nakalock-in kasi kami. So, habang nasa, kinakabisado ko muna yung script, syempre, para after nun yung character ko naman.
Of course.
So, titingin lang ako sa salamin. Tapos, kailangan mawala sa akin si JC. Tapos, pagdating ko sa set, yung sabi mo, like, habang kailangan ko rin malaman yung bawat gilid para mas maging comfortable ako pag hinahawakan ko, para magamit ko siya, para mas maramdam ko yung acting na nasa paligid ko. Kasi pag uma-acting ka, kailangan sa bawat paligid mo, dapat ramdam mo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Ayun. Tapos, kinakausap ko yung kapartner ko or kabatuhan ko. Kailangan kong maging okay kami para pag sinalang ako, hindi halatang pinepeke.
Yeah. Okay.
So, kailangan makipag-banding muna ako sa kabatuhan.
Of course. And chemistry is also a very important thing,
Yes.
regardless of who you're acting with. But in that case, like you meet someone for the first time, or like you're going through this thing for the first time, and then you mentioned faking it. So, for you, as an actor, how do you avoid faking it? Because of course, acting, it's not necessarily something that happened to you, but people, your listeners, your audience needs to feel like it's real. So, how would you say, like, what would you say is the difference between, like, faking it and being authentic with your acting?
Pag mapansin kasi ng mga tao, yung pag alam mong fina-fake mo yung acting, na, ay, hindi to effective. So, minsan kasi, pag may mga, yung last, like yung role ko sa Hello Stranger, hindi ko pa namimix si Tony. Merong magic sa aming dalawa na
yes. Yeah.
So, kahit wala kaming workshop or anything, nakita nila na merong spark talaga kaming dalawa na, ay,
Oh, okay.
nakakakilig yung dalawa kahit wala silang ginagawa, kahit nagkakatingin. Eye contact.
Eye contact. Yeah.
Yun.
All right. So let's take a break from your career first and let's go to the content that you release online, starting with your YouTube, which I see has been untouched for a year, but your fans want a comeback. So will there be a comeback to your YouTube? More vlogs maybe, or anything, covers, music?
Sana. Pag naging medyo okay na ako, babalik ako. Gusto ko rin may pakita yung side ko as JC Alcantara. Kung ano ba yung ginagawa ko sa bahay, kung ano yung pag naglilibot ako, gusto ko rin sila isama.
Yeah.
Para ma-enjoy nila yung pagbabalik ko. Kumbaga, mas ma-enjoy nila kung ano yung ginagawa ko at malaman nila lahat.
And you go to a lot of places, so I'm sure people would like to see that also. So, there's
Kasi
some stuff
sobrang ako, like, nanonood talaga ako ng mga vlog. Gusto ko yung mga travel vlog. Like
Oh
sila,
yeah, of course.
J.O. Ong. Sobrang fan nila ako ng Ong Fam. Sabi ko, parang gusto ko silang maging inspirasyon na gayahin yung ginagawa nila.
Okay.
Mahilig din talaga ako mag-travel.
Yeah.
Gusto ko din talaga ng nature. Kaya palagi akong umuwi sa province. Tapos maraming bundok doon, maraming pwedeng gawin, maraming beach, na swimming pool, marami din doon. Gusto kong i-share yon kung saan ako nagpupunta. Tapos makikipag-collab na lang para mas lumawak pa lalo yung following, subscribers, yon.
Yeah, that would be nice to see, especially because like not everyone has been there yet. Where are you from? Nueva Ecija?
Nueva Ecija.
Yeah, so it would make for good content for you to like show people around, show your hometown, and if possible, I guess, show your fans where it all started, like the high school where you won the singing competition. It would also be very interesting to see. But what I see from you now is you're very active on TikTok. So are you someone who plans your content or anything goes?
Pag merong nagte-trending, tapos na-try ko lang, pero hindi ko na-upload kasi naki-cringe ako sa sarili ko na
Okay.
hindi ko alam. Pero masaya akong ginagawa ko siya. Pero minsan pag nakikita ko, teka, parang medyo hindi ko na lang i-upload. Tapos pag may pag may kasama ako, doon lang ako nag-upload. Minsan lang. Pero nung last kasi nag-OME ako, nag-trending din siya. So, inaano ko na lang, ni-stitch ko na lang, kumbaga, tinitingnan ko na lang tapos, dinuduet ko para para mapansin nila na ako yung nandun na ka-OME nila. OME TV.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, back to your creative process for a bit, and actually the lessons you've learned as an actor and as a singer first. So, as an actor first, what's the biggest lesson you've learned, like, in general? And then we'll go into specifics after. Because I always feel like no matter what your craft is, whether it's something creative or you're a doctor, there's a lesson that everyone, even people who don't do that as a job, can learn from. So, as an actor, what's the biggest life lesson you've learned?
The biggest lesson that I've learned,
Yeah.
yung patience.
Patience. Why is that?
Kasi maraming rejection,
Oh yeah, for sure.
marami kang hihintaying audition na akala mo matatanggap ka. Kung time mo na, ibibigay sa'yo ni Lord. Pag nakita niyang pinaghirapan mo lahat, makukuha mo yan. And then yun yung nangyari sa akin sa Close Stranger. Na dati, nire-reject ako ng mga tao, hindi ako napapansin. That time, parang hindi pa ako nakikilala ng mga tao. Tapos yung mga boss, parang hindi rin nila ako kilala. And then after nun, nung nakilala ako, nung nag-Close Stranger ako, yung mga boss na yung lumalapit sa akin, si GC pala. Mas napansin nila ako na, ay, meron tayong artistang ganito na kaya makipagsabayan sa mga actor, sa mga bigat actor. Sabi ko, sobrang nakaka-overwhelm. And syempre, kailangan maging down to earth tayo every day. Kasi hindi tayo tatagal kung kung lalaking ulo natin. Kaya minsan normal na siguro sa mga artista kasi may tendency na mangyari yon kasi sobrang yung private life mo hindi mo magawa. Kumbaga nakokontrol ka ng mga tao sa paligid mo, mga fans mo, ng mga nasa paligid mo, like being an actor kasi hawak ka nila eh. Kumbaga yung schedule mo, lahat. So minsan medyo nakakalimutan na rin natin yung sarili natin, nagbabago tayo. Pero bumabalik-balik pa rin ako sa dati na ay, kailangan pag ganito, pag nararamdaman ko to, kailangan kong umuwi. Kailangan kong maramdaman ulit yung mga moment na walang-wala ako para mas stay ko yung yung sarili ko, yung pagiging JC Alcantara na down to earth.
So, JC, how do you stay down to earth and remain grounded?
Iniisip ko na lang yung sarili ko na kaya palagi ako umuwi ng province kasi mas nakikilala ko ulit yung ako. Kasi pag nandito na ako sa Manila, minsan hindi ko na rin makilala yung sarili ko. Minsan, alam mo yun, kasi marami rin akong pinagdadaanan. Kasi breadwinner ako. Kaya minsan nadadala ko yung mga galit, yung mga ines. Kasi ang hirap para sa akin na like yung mga trabaho ko na apektuhan din minsan. Pero gusto kong magstay ako na kailangan maging okay ako. Kaya meron ako mga friend na tumutulong sa akin na like last time meron akong taping si Ate Maxine Magalona. Advice siya sa akin. Yung mga nakukuha ko sa kanila, ina-apply ko sa sarili ko na kailangan maging okay ka palagi. Kailangan, ganun kasi, papakita mo na okay ka palagi kahit hindi. Kaya siguro bumabalik lang ako sa dati na JC Alcantara.
And it's very good that you're conscious of that you shouldn't lose yourself even if this is the nature of your work. So that's something that a lot of people need to keep in mind actually. Now, before we go, what do you want the world to know about JC Alcantara? This could be anything at all. It could even be funny.
Okay. Si JC Alcantara, in real life, sobrang bully. Pero
Okay.
yun yung love language ko.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that.
Tapos sweet din ako. Clingy din ako. Tapos ako yung matatakbuhan ng kaibigan. Kumbaga, kung may kailangan ka, may problema ka, pwede mo akong lapitan kahit financial or anything. Nandiyan ako sa tabi mo para gabayan ka, para i-advisean ka. Sobrang genuine kong tao. Pag mahal ko, kaibigan ko, loyal, ganun ako. Kung may tinatago ka man, sa ating dalawa lang.
Okay. So that's good. You're both the bully and the friend. All right. Okay. So I just got word that you have to go in a bit. So, but before that, and before we say goodbye to the audience properly, let's just say hello to a few people in the Facebook stream. So thank you to Nini Jorge for the stars and for saying amen. You have a fan, Farida Bantuas, who's saying hello to you.
Hello.
And of
Hi,
course,
Farida.
Maria. And then Maria Victoria Edaponan also says, happy and safe Wednesday afternoon and God bless. So hello to our commenters for today. And now, JC, last, this is like one of my favorite thing to ask our guests also. But you're an actor, you're a singer. What's one piece of acting or singing advice that can become life advice? So this isn't something like patience or something that you need to keep in mind, but rather something concrete to acting or specific to singing. Like last week I gave the example that Mr. Martin Rivera has told me, always find your light or find the light. People have told me as an actor, don't go too far off from the screen because you lose focus that way. And some singers have also told me, take a deep breath before going in. So for you, what's that?
Mangarap ka ng mataas. Dahil libre lang mangarap. Pag pinaghihirapan mo yung gusto mo, pag nakita ni Lord yan, ibibigay niya sa'yo. And may sasabihin ako nakalimutan. Ano ba? Yung isa, nawala ako. Oh my God.
That's okay. Okay, well.
Ayun, yun na lang. Yun na lang.
All right. If we had time, I'd ask you a little bit more also about how you keep your faith so strong, especially being a young actor. But I have word that you have to go na. So before I tell you to say goodbye to your fans and before we ask you to remind them where we can find you, allow me to thank a few people first. So before we say goodbye, this has been New Wave. So thank you to Teo for handling the broadcast and to Sir Justin for backing us up, especially now. Thank you once again to our audience for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. So we have another exciting guest. Once again, thank you also to the Star Magic team for helping us put this together, for Ja for doing all the communications, and for Pat, who is here with us on Zoom today. Happy birthday, Mommy. I'm just going to insert that there. Don't miss out. Follow us on Instagram at newwave.rk to stay updated. Head over to our Facebook page called New Wave and join the Facebook community group on the page for replays, additional content, engagements, and ways you could get featured on the show. The links will be pasted in the comments, so please check that out. Catch the replay of this on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM's Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter Live, all of which go by at Radyo Katipunan. And don't forget that you can also listen to this episode and many more as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor under the name New Wave. But most of all, thank you to our guest, JC Alcantara, for joining us today and for sharing everything. So we'll be streaming your song and looking forward to everything you have planned, especially your music video. Now the floor is yours to tell people where to find you, where to stream, and everything. Go ahead.
Ayun, again, mga kapamilya, sana po stream yung Lumala o Mawala sa Spotify, sa Apple Music, and YouTube. And Tara G, every Friday po yun, 8 p.m. And An Inconvenient Love na pinagbibidaan ni Donnie Pangilinan and Bel Mariano. Kasama po ako doon. Sana po manood po kayo this coming November 23. Ayun, maraming salamat po, kapamilya.
Thank you. So thank you, everyone. Once again, I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts, and this has been New Wave. We'll see you next week, but our schedule will shift slightly next week because we have a very special guest. So we'll see you instead of Wednesday, we'll see you at Thursday, 7 p.m. See you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
Catch us on
New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there.
Sabi nila, life is like a cup of coffee.